Wow. I'm back. There is. I hope we got some spare chairs so we can. A few of y'all should sit down. I feel so bad. You guys are standing. I also question some of your judgment in choosing this over the season opener for the basketball game.
That's just a blowout.
I mean, it is the Dukes. We could take them. But you know, I also know there's an amazing film festival happening here this weekend. So you guys, thank you for coming out to this. I'm feeling a lot of pressure to make sure this is totally worth your while. So I might as well get started. Hi, I'm Alexis. This is the name of the talk. That is the hashtag for it. I will not be upset. I'll actually be a little disappointed if I don't see you guys using your phones during this, because I want you to be tweeting and Snapchatting. This would be a really boring Snapchat, but still. Now, because that's all. People don't use Snapchat for anything but audio, of course. The most common way that I start these things off, we've been doing a massive tour around college campuses around the country. We've got 75 on the list. We've been to about 15. This is obviously the one I've been looking forward to the most, because I was in class 2005. I was a history major and a commerce major and a German minor. Ja, Deutsch. and I love my time here at UVA. And normally, when I start these things off, I make fun of the mascots of the school, because I'm well known for the mascots that I create: the red-headed alien, the headmonk chipmunk, the bread pig. But how can you mess with perfection? How can you dare to say anything about Pac-Man? There's nothing to be said, so I'll just proceed. Greatness, absolute greatness. Is Lil Who back, by the way? I heard a rumor that Lil Who was back. Now I sound old, but when I was in school here, there was the dude with the inflatables, big head. No, it's gone. Oh man, I missed it. Okay, I'll pull one out for Lil Who. I heard a rumor that he was back. I was mistaken. Anyway, I really like mascots. All the companies I've started have them just because I doodled them. Because you guys are UVA, I can tell you that I was actually bored in McIntire when I created the Red Alien. I was doodling in my fourth year. We didn't have anything figured out about the company at this point, but I just knew we needed a mascot. And people always ask about the name Reddit. The reason it's called that is because I hoped people would say, I read it on Reddit. And I don't think anyone's ever said that. That was the hope. Has it? No, people are saying it? Okay, good. Let's make this a thing, please. And I came up with it in Alderman Library. So you guys you walk in Alderman, on the left is the cafe. It's still there, right? Yeah. Yes, okay. And you go to the right, and back then there were computers there, because we didn't. They're still there? Yes, excellent. Okay, good. And it was sitting there among those computers that I was searching domain names, and I wanted something with the word "read" in it, or something that referred to reading, because it was going to be this kind of news site. And I found Reddit was available for free. We're actually going to call it a SNOO. SNOO, because we hoped people would ask what's SNOO, and we'd be like, exactly. But we couldn't afford that domain name. It was going to cost a few $1,000s. We were like, forget it. And I found REDDIT and REDITT were both available. I registered them both, and I asked one of my library buddies, Melissa Goldstein, which one made more sense, because they're both bastardizations of English. And I was like, which one makes more sense? And she said, go with the one with two Ds. And so I did. And that is where the alien was made. That is where the name came from. That's the whole genesis of Reddit there, at least from a brand standpoint, all happening right here on grounds. And it was pretty amazing. The President of the United States did an AMA from Charlottesville during the campaign. And it was, again, for me and Steve Hoffman is not here. I tried to get him out as my guest tonight, but he is busy putting Hitmonk on a course to IPO. And I tried so hard. But unfortunately, Steve's not here. But Steve and I, we owed so much to our university experience because of how we met each other, and it's a shame because there aren't a lot of folks who expect to see a top-of-the website come out of University of Virginia, right? They're always expecting Stanford or MIT or any of those schools, and so what I'm here to say is none of that matters. Okay, there are going to be many more, even greater companies coming out of this university, and I want you to go everywhere you can and brag about how this is where you got your degree. Because I'll tell you, it was an amazing 4 years. This was a selfie that I took, Jack. Yeah. I was very happy to be able to make it, to graduate. I missed my comp school graduation because it was the same time as my history graduation, and I chose the history one instead. Yeah, we did. Yes, I think I made the right choice. But it was unprecedented because they called my name and I wasn't there, and everyone was really worried because I guess that never happens. But we had a lot of good times at UVA. This was, I got this. You know what the saddest part is? Don't make fun of the CRTs, okay? Because this is how computers used to look in my day, all right? And when we wanted to have a LAN party, we would have to put these things in our cars and drive them all the way over to a friend's house and set them up and mess with the router for an hour before it worked. Like, y'all don't know how good you have it. It also, just to be clear, the Coors Light is not playing right now. It's just there resting as we embark. I think this was like 72 hours. And this was probably maybe 24 hours in, so it looked even worse by the time it was over. But anyway, that was my college life, a lot of gaming. And I was really lucky, because when I showed up on move-in day, I was in Hancock First Left, in the old dorms here.
Hancock College.
It's still there, right? Okay, Hancock, yeah.
Hancock First Left.
First Left, represent, man. That's where Reddit started. Right there. And I don't even know, I don't remember my room number, I can probably look this up, but I moved in and I was so ecstatic. Because I walked in and I saw this blonde-haired, blue-eyed angel named Steve Huffman playing video games, and I was so happy. He was playing Gran Turismo. I was a little disappointed because it's not the best game, but he was playing video games, and I was so happy because I didn't think there were gamers in college. I thought that is all I did in high school. The only parties we went to had LAN in front of them. But seriously, the only ones we went to. I went to college. That changed a bit, but I was so happy to meet him because I was like, yes, we could talk about computers and gaming, and he was really disappointed in me. Because he had read my name on the door, saw it, Alexis, and thought he was living on a co-ed hall. That was unfortunate, but we made up for that. He became a very close friend of mine at UVA, and he's the reason I get to be here today in a lot of ways. But really, okay, I can get nostalgic, but let's proceed on and talk about why this man with an amazing mustache is wrong. He has an amazing mustache, Tom Freeman does, but do not believe everything that comes out of it. I guess it doesn't come out of the mustache, but that would be weird. This is a very captivating book, great headline. But the world is not flat, right? The Greeks knew this, NASA's confirmed it. Okay, but the World Wide Web is. This idea that if all links are created equal, anyone with an internet connection, some computers can take an idea to the world like never before. And it's not just a stage, it's also a library, the world's largest. And it's the kind of platform that if we keep it open and level, allows 2 recent UVA graduates to move into a suburb of a suburb of a suburb of Boston with 12 grand in funding, a couple computers, and build something that 8 years later would have more traffic than the New York Times or CNN from that little beginning. Any one of you can do something with this kind of scale. And that's really powerful. Extremely powerful. Only I am really dating myself now. Seems only a few of you know what that is. And that cultural reference makes me feel really bad. Okay. All right, so the Power Glove is probably not the best example because it's not actually, it's a terrible accessory. If some of you know, it's just actually a terrible way to play games. But this is a really powerful idea. And I'm speaking to my fellow millennials here because I know there are a lot of things that are not sort of the way that we were told they would be, right? The idea was go to school, go get a degree, everything's going to be great, there'll be a job waiting for you, right? The economy is not there. It's getting there, it's coming back, but it certainly feels like at times a lot of the plan, right, has not really necessarily been working out. But here's the good news, okay? We have a tremendous advantage, and it comes from the fact that we understand this world-changing technology, the internet, fundamentally in a way that none of the incumbents do. Because we were, as Bain pointed out, I'm not going to do the impression.
Do it.
They merely adopted the internet. We were born with it. This is really bad because I was prohibited for a very long time from ever doing that Bain impression in public because it would always come out after a few drinks. And all my friends were like, shut up, stop, this is giving me so much motivation. Okay, but no, seriously, under here is the truth, right? It is a kind of fluency that we understand fundamentally because we have grown up with it. I mean, at this point, not only did the internet raise me, it's my boss now, all right? But you all fortunately have had this amazing opportunity, and the resources that are available to you right now are far better than what they were for me and Steve just 8 years ago. That's how much this innovation has changed things and improve things. You guys can watch world-class lectures, right? YouTube did not exist when I was in college. Yeah. That was the sound of all of your minds blowing, okay? YouTube did not exist when I was in college. Man, this is what it feels like to be on. That's it. That's what it is. Okay. The point is, we have amazing resources. Take full advantage of them because the incumbents, some of them realize it, most of them don't. Some of them are trying to adopt, most of them aren't. They are ultimately this, okay? and look, well-intentioned grandma wants to get on Netflix, and who could blame her, right? House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, amazing content. She wants to be on the Netflix, but ultimately it's just the difference between understanding something because you have grown up with it and understanding something with like, you know, almost in understanding cultures or languages. There's a difference between being raised somewhere and speaking something compared to just listening to a bunch of hymns or tapes. We all have been immersed in this technology, and please take full advantage of it because the stories that I want to share, the stories of my own, the stories of your fellow Wahoos, we are not exceptional. We are not any different from any of you in that simple regard. Because we all start from someplace like this. Do you remember I said this amazing quote? It's one of the greatest thinkers of the 20th century. Everyone, okay? Every one of us has great ideas. And that's good. We all should. We should feel great. No one ever comes up to you and says, oh, hold on, I gotta tell you something. I have the worst idea ever. Just give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna waste your time. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate me. No, we all think we have great ideas. And the difference is simply some people come up and some people don't. And actually, I take it there are probably a bunch of people here. Are any of you guys working on something really amazing right now? Something you're really proud of?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, real quick. The first hand that I saw come up was yours. So would you mind coming up here real quick and just pitching it? I'll give you a minute to come on. We'll give you the mic. Okay. Can we clap it up? Yeah. Hey, look, this is totally unscripted. I seriously, that was this planned?
No.
Honor code, like it was not planned. So please, so take a minute first. What's your name?
Cash.
Cash. What's up? I'm Alexis. Please, pitch everyone what you're working on.
Right. So me and my team is creating a we're creating a new language learning software, hoping to utilize Google Glass and create immersion while you're not actually in a different country.
What's it called?
Well, fluency language software.
You can workshop it. You can workshop it. So, where's my checkbook? Yes, okay, awesome. Can you clap it up real quick? It is succinct, but the point I wanted to make, and then the reason why, you can go back here.
It has a new.
Yes, with red, well, just ahead, but there's,
Oh
yeah.
my God, there's
Well, I know where it is, but the point is, the exact thing I'm talking about when I say there's a difference between people who have ideas and those who execute them and do them. And part of that means like putting your hand up and doing something a little awkward, like getting in front of a bunch of people unprompted to talk about what you care about and what you're working on. But that is the difference, right? Every single one of us has these amazing ideas, and I want you all to take it to the next stage of taking those advantages and opportunities when they present themselves, okay? And it's that difference that is going to make all of the difference. And I actually had a professor here, Professor Wheeler of the McIntire School, who actually taught me that lesson when I was an undergrad here, because he wondered why I was always volunteering to get up in front of the room and be like his human prop for law discussions, because like law is a kind of abstract thing. So he would just ask for volunteers to come up and be a prop. I was just doing it because I didn't like sitting for too long. And it was a fine opportunity to just stand up and like pretend to, I don't know, pretend to be a tort, or clearly I did not do very well in that class. What was so special though is he actually mentioned at some point, he was like, you know what, this is the difference. People who are willing, even for some silly, ridiculous exercise like being a human tort, people who are willing to get up and participate and be a part of something are the ones who actually end up changing the world. And I was like, all right, Professor Wheeler, that whole out-of-state tuition was pretty much like paid for in that one moment. It was all worth it. I mean, well, not really. That was a lot. Jeez. Anyway, the point is, that's the difference, right? And look, some of those ideas, some of those things are going to be bad ideas. And oh, you don't want to do that. No, you don't want to do that. But the fact is, I mean, really, oh man. And you know what? So I'm going to Tech in a few weeks, and I gotta be fair. The last time I was there, they're actually really nice to me. But this time, no, totally different. No, I actually want to tell you guys a little something that not a lot of people knew. Before Reddit, there was something else. Steve, I told you, my Reddit co-founder, we wanted to defeat lines. We wanted to end lines forever. When he was a third year, we were living together. He came over one day, we were living together, so he came home one day, and we're just hanging out on the sofa, and he was at Sheets. You love for Sheets? Yes. All right, yes. And he loved those touch screens, but he hated how he was pumping his gas outside and was still wasting time waiting, pumping gas, walking inside, typing in his order. He was like, why don't I just use my phone to place this order? They've already got the technology to have the robots taking the order inside. Why can't I just do this remotely? And he tells me this, and I'm like, dude, this is big, because it's not just Sheets, it's everything. We were waiting in line, you could just do this mobile. This was 2004, 2005, mind you, so there were no smartphones. Like the smartest phone was a Trio, one palm thing, that's about right. That's, to this day, I think there's still just one. I could have made that a BlackBerry joke, but that's just too soon. But we got to talking, and at this point, I thought, all right, we might be onto something. I actually just stopped my course, or my quest to be a lawyer, because I was taking an LSAT prep course with my buddy Jack, who's here. Hey, Jack. And we walked out of it. It was a Kaplan SAT prep class. One of those things they do, they were like a hypothetical LSAT, rather. And then you spend a few hours doing it, and you mail off your thing, and they come back with you and say, hey, we can help you improve your score, blah, 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 whatever. After the first section, we realized the answers were on the back of the book, and so we're like, why are we here? It's a Saturday morning, like I could do this tomorrow, and so we went to Waffle House on 29, and it changed our lives. Like that was the first time with those delicious syrupy bites of waffle that I really thought about law school and how it would be 3 very expensive, very long years to get something that would mean I kind of have to be a lawyer, or at least I would be for the short term to pay off those 3 years of law school. And I thought, I like waffles more than law school, so I probably shouldn't be a lawyer. And so what I mean to say is every one of you should go have Waffle House epiphanies. Really, this tour is not sponsored by Waffle House at all. So I had that fortunate opportunity happen. Then I had a professor in the comm school, Professor Mark Way, who invited me to come to Singapore one summer to compete on UVA's team. There was this technopreneurship forum, because of course it's Singapore and they have technopreneurship forums. It was amazing. And I actually turned down an internship in New York, which I really wanted, but ultimately didn't want as much as a paid trip. We actually got a stipend for going to Singapore. And I was like, of course I'm gonna go here. The whole conference, the competition turned out to be a bit of a fiasco, because I got mixed with another team, and our team got a patent that was already obsolete, and so we just spent the entire week hanging out, partying in Singapore. It was a lot of fun. But what happened that first night was I got drinks with Professor White and his wife, who's also on the trip, and I pitched them on our idea, right? So Steve and I wanted to build this software. We had a name for it. It was called My Mobile Menu, or And I pitched them on and I already told my parents were so extremely supportive. They said, yes, that's awesome, go do it. But I knew that they were just biased. So then I asked Mark, and I was like, really, what do you think? And he was like, you know what? It's not terrible. He was like, it's not that bad. And we were thrilled. So the next day, I found this email. I sent Steve an email that had way too many bros in it. And I was really ashamed of how many times I wrote the word bro in that email. But I basically told him, I need you. You have a job offer waiting for you, but I please need you to help me with this. And he said, all right, we can start a company together. Let's do this. Let's go down to Bank of America. We opened up Red Brick Solutions, LLC. The Red Brick's obviously because of HackCville, and the Solutions because we just thought that's what a software company should have. Not the best idea. But we started working on it. We talked to restaurateurs all over the corner, and we weren't quite sure how it was going to work, but we were convinced that we were on the right track. And by our fourth year, did I just lose my cred? By my fourth year, we were getting ready for our senior year spring break. Damn it, fourth year spring break, do people say? I guess so. Fine. This is a really important thing, right? This is your last hurrah. This is the last chance to go and make bad decisions on a beach. At least I guess we could still do it the following years. But the point was, we heard about something else happening in Boston at the same time, which was a talk being given by a guy named Paul Graham called How to Start a Startup. We thought, damn, like, beaches, you can't even use your laptops there, right? Screen glare, internet connection's bad. We should just go to Boston and hear this talk. And this talk changed our lives. We went up and met with Paul after, we pitched him on and he told us, he was like, not bad. I actually kind of like this, you guys have a chance. We were thrilled, absolutely thrilled. We come back to HackCville. We're working, we hear there's this thing called Combinator, which is now accepting applications. We thought, this is perfect. We already met Paul. He started Combinator. We should apply. So we apply. We go up through interviews, and we crush it. We just do an amazing job. And then that night, they call us and reject us. Wow. Schadenfreude, people. Damn, just laugh at us. No. We got drunk, and those course of things. And the next morning, hungover, we resolved to prove them wrong. We had already gone to Boston. We were on the way back. Long train ride from Boston to Charlottesville, and we got a call from PG, from Paul, who said, you know what? We still don't like your idea. No, all right? He was like, but we like you guys. It's too early for mobile. You're still gonna have to, there's too many hurdles. If you make something on the web, build a web application, we'll let you in. We don't care what it is, just build something, all right? Are you willing to come back and do this? And we got off at the next stop, headed right back to Boston. We killed my mobile menu, right on the spot. And we met with Paul for an hour. And during that meeting, he asked us, what problems do you have every day? And as college students, our biggest problem was just sort of like finding out what was going on in the world. And we went online, and Steve read Slashdot every day. And I was using these brand new things called tabs in the browser. And I had like 30 tabs open and reading different news sites. And neither one of us felt like we had a solution that we could use that would really solve our problem. And so Paul's talking to us, and he's like, you know what, that's it. You guys can build the front page of the internet. Okay, you're going to give us money for that? Yes, we will do it. And so that's what we set off to do. That was the start of it. It was this fortuitous event that changed our lives because we got up to Boston after graduation. This is what we look like. See, I'm repping my UVA hat, right? Yeah, it's got my Cafe Press Reddit shirt. We hadn't built the site yet, but I already had a mascot. Very important, very important. And that's Steve. If you see photos of Steve today, hopefully you've taken his Udacity course. You see photos of Steve now, you'll notice he looks the exact same. That's because he is a vampire. Fun fact. One of the other things that you can't tell, this is literally the first photo ever taken of us as like Reddit founders, right? This was a week in Y Combinator. This is June 2005. And if you can't tell from this image, I've got some enhancement software. You can see what I was thinking at the time. There it is, yes. Really, no fucking idea. I can't speak for Steve, but I can say pretty confidently neither one of us knew what the hell we were doing. And this is important, okay? Because anyone who comes in front of you as some kind of an expert who knows stuff, they are, if they tell you or front as though they've got it all figured out, they are either lying or they are delusional or they're just lazy and they're not trying, okay? You will constantly find yourself in situations where you will not know what the hell you're doing, but that's okay. That is what life is. And so the thing that stops you from taking your great idea and putting it out in the world should never be, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm not quite sure if this is going to work, because it doesn't matter, right? You've got to be willing to be a little embarrassed. This is the first version of Reddit, which I know will not win any design contests or beauty pageants today, but back then that's what it looked like. It's the very first version of the site. As soon as we put it online, I had the mascot done, but Steve was still a little skeptical that we needed it. But you'll notice something from this. One, my first submission was the Downing Street memo. You'll notice the color scheme. We were like, what color should we make? And we were like, I don't know, blue and orange. To be fair, I chose orange red because I just liked the way it popped on the alien's eyes. But the point is, it was UVA inspired. You'll also notice from this, I have a -1 karma score. That is because Steve is a dick. Because I made that submission, and we're sitting in the apartment together, and I look over my monitor, and I'm like, really? And people who know Steve can attest to that. I'm a dick. But no. But that's actually why we don't show negative scores, because my feelings were so hurt because Steve downloaded me. Yeah, but that's the first version, right? It should embarrass you a little bit. If you look at the first versions of any of this stuff, do you remember the first version of the Iron Man suit? Yeah, not that kind of janky, right? Kind of janky. Same version, first version of Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, all these things start out looking janky, all right? Some of them start looking better over time, others don't. But the point is, you shouldn't be too embarrassed. It's all right. Sucking is the first step to being sort of good at something. Adventure Time, all right? Quote it. It's a cartoon dog in a dystopian future. Yeah, seriously, go forth and suck, okay? It's okay, that is part of learning something good. Please don't interpret that. Actually, whatever, look So this is what we found out about 2 weeks after we launched. All right, so we were feeling pretty good. We finally launched, all right? And we heard on this site called Dig, and I was like, oh shit. Because they'd been out for 6 months, they had a better looking website, they were pretty similar. They had a celebrity founder who had announced it on his TV show, like 6 months earlier. Kevin Rose. He didn't mention it was his website, but to each his own. They were in Silicon Valley. Ooh, Silicon Valley, right? And at the time, I was scared. I was scared by that, all right? Legitimately, right? We just graduated from college. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. We hear about all this stuff, and we're just thinking that feels like it feels like they're doing it all right. They raised a ton of money, all that stuff. But we sent an email to Paul, and I just told him, the subject line was like, meet the enemy. It's at dig.com. And an email back, and he was like, do not care about your competition. Do not care one bit. They will not defeat you. Only you will defeat yourself. And he was absolutely right. If you look at Dig and all those Dig clones, it's exactly what happened. And so do not stop doing the thing you want to do just because there may be other people doing it. Do not be afraid to share what you were working on because you're worried someone's going to steal it. They're not. And even if you do have an amazing idea, people are going to copy it as soon as it rolls out anyway. So get used to it and just beat them. All right? And there are going to be a range of emotions along the way. This is a story about a company called Yahoo back when they were purple. It was a big deal, purple Yahoo. And we were invited by an executive to come out there. And this was maybe 4 or 5 months into Red. It's still very early. Steve and I fly out there, and we're really excited because, wow, like we had this meeting with Google a little earlier, that went well. This meeting with Yahoo is hopefully going to be great. And they sat us down, and we went through our pitch, and the guy interrupted us pretty early into it. And he just said, hold on. How much traffic do you guys have anyway? We looked at each other, and we looked at him, and we're like, well, we just launched, 5 months ago, but it's growing week over week, but we've got a few thousand users. And he's like, yeah, you guys are a rounding error compared to Yahoo. What are you even doing here? Needless to say, the meeting did not go well after that. And when we're thinking, like, you invited us, was it to make fun of us? Like, But look, we got back, we flew back to Boston, and I'm actually grateful. I don't want to name him because there's no point. He's still in tech, actually. I'm sure he doesn't remember the meeting, but I want to thank him one day because I hope to meet him again. Because I went back to Boston and I put something on my wall. It said, "You are a rounding error." Put it on my wall. I looked at it every morning because I wanted to know exactly who I wanted to be proving wrong. And so over time, there were more haters, and I just put their stuff on the wall right next to my wall of negative reinforcement. And so what I'm saying to you is I'm speaking to a generation that got participation trophies for everything, right? I have like 7 basketball camp trophies and I still can't dribble. Just here you go, tall guy. Good luck. Next. Right? There are going to be haters. They're going to be the constructive ones who are so vital and so important, and they're going to be the straight up haters. And look, they're going to hate. Eat them like breakfast. All right? Use it as motivation. Use it as something to fuel you. Do not let it bring you down, right? Because they're going to be there. This is the cost of creating anything or doing anything, all right? If you can be better than the back button, if you can defeat the enemy, right? This is what is vying for everyone's attention, right? Because if you are making something online, whether it's a Kickstarter campaign or an Etsy store or a startup or just a blog, you have to be better than this. Because everyone wants to look at photos of cats. That is the competition. Also, this is my cat. Her name is Karma. It's true. Oh, yeah. She's not a kitten anymore, though. She's still adorable, and I love her. I take too many photos of her. But the point is, the internet is full of cats. and things that will distract, right? You have to assume that everyone is a second away to going back to that cat photo. So whatever you make has to be really great. You have to make something people want online. You can't get away with just advertising at them or convincing them that it's worth it. Because if it's not, they're clicking off. We've got so much going on in our lives, right? Only our moms will automatically care about what we've made. Right? They're the only ones, because moms are awesome. Everyone else needs to be convinced. So go in with that attitude. Go in with the attitude that there will be failure and there will be setbacks. All right? But look, it's okay. And I'll give you a perfect example. One of my favorites. It's not even about tech. All right? Now, there's someone who failed at the University of Georgia. He's a friend of mine now. He's 3 years in. It wasn't for him. He failed out. And he bounced around from different jobs. It just wasn't working. And he told his family and friends one day, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to move to New York. And they said, you are crazy. You don't even have a job. What are you going to do? He said, I got it. I'm going to take photos. And he said, you have never even taken a photo. Like, you're terrible at taking photos. You don't even have a camera. And he was like, that's a good point. I'll get a camera, and I'm going to learn how to take photos, and I'm going to get really good at it. And his friends and family were a little skeptical. And so he went up to New York, and he started taking photos. He started sucking. He sucked. right? He created a Tumblr and he took some photos. No one really paid attention, but he started really honing his craft. He started getting inspired everywhere he could online by other photographers. And in 3 years, he became one of the most viewed photographers in the world, Humans of New York. Now, Brandon Stanton could have just been a University of Georgia failout who bounced around a bunch of different jobs and listened to all those people who said, don't bother this, don't bother doing this, right? And in 3 years, he is now doing everything he could possibly want with his life. He's made a tremendous name for himself and is making the world a much better place, sharing these incredible stories, right? He is achieving his maximum level of awesome. And that is the great thing the internet can do, not just for people who want to start companies, but people who just have ideas they want to share, things that they want to do. And every single one of us is capable of this. Every single one of you, and that makes me really happy. It makes me as happy as this cat. It really does, all right? Because it is possible, and it's happening in all kinds of industries, and we're just seeing the beginning of it, right? Webcomic artists like Zach Wiener, this would have never made it into the Sunday comics next to Family Circus, right? No way. He's doing this from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and 8 years ago, he was a closed captioner. This guy was actually typing out the things Snooki said, right, for a living. That is soul crushing. Okay? And think of all that talent that would have been wasted. He has millions of fans now. Think of the talent that would have been wasted if he just kept doing that, right? This is happening not just for millennials. This is a 70-year-old musician in Leicester Chambers who raised a little over $60,000 on Kickstarter. After decades, he was a member of the Chambers Brothers, after decades of being robbed by the music industry that signed some awful deals with him, for the first time in his life, he actually got to connect directly with his fans, make an album he entirely owned. And you should hear him talk about the internet today. He talks about it like some skinny-jeaned hipster in Brooklyn pitching a startup. He is so emphatic about what it's done to connect him with his fans for the first time in his career. There are people like Zach Anner, who is an amazing comic. He has cerebral palsy, or as he says it, the sexiest of the palsies. And he was able to find an audience through the internet. Now, he pointed out a very simple thing in a pitch video that went viral. He was like, I know I'm an unconventional host, right? There aren't a lot of people on TV with cerebral palsy. There aren't a lot of travel show hosts with cerebral palsy, but I've got a story to share. And over time, he built this following. He has a show now called Have a Little Faith on SoulPancake. He has millions of fans. He's making a living creating the content he wants, being a hilarious comedian, and just being awesome. And it's not just for business. It's not just for art. It's not just for entertainment. It's also for philanthropy. There's an amazing website called DonorsChoose.org, which was actually started by a Bronx public school teacher back in like 2001, which connects any one of us with a credit card to a public school classroom in America, specifically project by project. So a classroom says, hey, we need $300 for an iPad. You give $1, it goes right to that classroom. And one woman named Debbie Guardino, a fellow Virginian out on the Eastern Shore, heard about a tornado that destroyed Joplin, Missouri, and she went to her computer. And this woman, she's a full-time teacher herself. She does not have time to be wasting doing other things, but she felt she was invested in this cause. And she went to her computer with Twitter, with Facebook, with Donors Choose, and in the span of weeks, raised $500,000 for this community. This is one woman, a superhero, who didn't have a TV show, who didn't have a connection, who just had an internet connection. I guess she did have one connection. She had an internet connection, right? And that is what she was able to do. And all this stuff that I've just named could not have even happened 10 years ago. And today, thankfully, it is happening every single day. And there's, that was the photo of the Joplin tornado. This is happening every single day because more and more barriers are falling. And real quick, I just want to point something out. I don't know where this is headed, okay? I don't. But I know it is a brand new frontier. And we are the ones who are going to be exploring it. And if you want to not just be the one exploring it, you guys can be Lewis and Clark, I'll be Sacagawea, all right? This means learning how to code. All right, how many of you right now are learning how to code or no? Okay, congratulations. Everyone with your hand up. You have the most valuable skill of this century. Congratulations, all right? Now for the rest of you, it'll blow your minds again. This is freely available online right now. Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Huffman, every one of these people here all got started or at least have been honing their skills online freely. All the skills you need to do, all the stuff that I just talked about are freely available right now. You can go on Code Academy. You can go on Rails for Zombies, which is amazing because it combines learning how to code with zombies. But this stuff is available right now. So all I'm saying is there are these platforms and these tools that are helping you help yourselves. But even more beyond that, if you want to really go to the next level, learning how to code is absolutely good. But look, these barriers are falling. Like I said, I don't know where it's headed. I really don't. But I know that it means more and more power to individuals who have great ideas and want to do stuff. And that is a truly powerful idea. All right, I want to take this word and knock it off of its pedestal All right, I don't speak French. There are probably some francophones here who will call me out for being wrong about this. Point is, that is what entrepreneurship is. It's having ideas and doing them. We're doing them all the time. And these are things that don't just make great founders, they also make great employees. And the more that you can do to develop these skills right now, launch an Etsy store, start a blog, and force yourself to write every single week. Like, do stuff. Get in the habit of having ideas and doing them, and surrounding yourself with other people who have ideas and do them. And know that anytime anyone comes in front of you saying like, hey look, here, I'm an example of someone who's had some amount of success, like know that they still don't know what they're doing. Maybe she got the narrow lineup, I'm really happy with that. They still don't know. And this is the core, this is the message that I'm hoping to bring to all these campuses all over the country. All right, this is not to scale, by the way. Those books would be terrifying. And no one could read them, right? Giants, maybe. But we're going to 75 campuses, 150 stops total, and I'm delivering the message that I wish I had gotten when I was an undergrad. Because look, at the end of the day, I'm really jealous of all of you. All right? This tour has already made me so incredibly jealous because I get to meet people who are already launching stuff and doing stuff that Steve and I only could have dreamed of when we were in school here. All right? And everyone gets a postcard, right? Get that postcard out. You probably have no idea how these things work. You get postage from a post office. Actually, I'm going to do that for you. Here's what you're going to do. Write down a note to yourself. This is going to your future self. All right? We're going to do this tour until March. When I get back to Brooklyn, I'm going to go to a post office, if they still exist, and mail them back to you. So put your home address on there. I'm not going to spam you, don't worry. Write down the thing that you want to do between now and when we get back from this tour. All right? Whatever it is. You want to learn French, you want to learn Python, you want to start an Etsy store, do something. I mean, you guys don't have to do it right now. Honor code, okay? At some point before we go, give it to one of my guys here, and I'll mail it back to you, okay? And the other thing, I of course want to mention, is that I'm building a community of people all over. You can hit me at join@Alexis Ohanian, not literally hit me. You can send me a note, because this is something that I need. Because, look, at the end of the day, I can spread this message, I can write a book, I can talk about this stuff, but I need actual examples. I need to be able to say, look at all these people I've met who are doing this stuff. This bad rep the millennials get, it's total malarkey. And I really want you guys to remember this and remember me when you're getting your IPO or your Nobel Peace Prize, and let me know, okay? Because I want to take all of the credit. All right? All of it, all right? So thank you very much. And I have something special for you. Now, normally we bring an alum from the university to come up on stage, and I interview them to talk about their early days. And if I can't, usually the line goes like, if I can't inspire you, here's a fellow blank. And because I don't go to that university. Because I am at UVA, I'm going to interview myself. No. Actually, I'm quite a treat. A young man named Thomas Nicholas is going to come up here, and I'm going to interview him for a little bit. So let's clap it up for Thomas.
I'm going straight for the free water.
There we go. I got a photo right here from up LinkedIn.
There we go.
Yeah. I like this because you think LinkedIn is the professional network. This is a very professional photo, sir.
That's the photo I'm always telling Nick to use for me, but he won't do it. He picks a better photo. He picks one where I look nice.
Oh, well, I hope you don't mind.
I love it.
Okay,
That's my favorite photo.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right, well, look. So, I've already been made to feel really old here quite a number of times. You just graduated in 11?
2011, yeah.
God, okay. All right.
I haven't had any exits, though.
No, but I mean, dude, but you've been shipping, you've been launching. So all right, and I still remember early on with CitySwig.
Yeah.
All right, talk about the start of that. Talk about what finally got you to say, all right, let's do this. Let's show.
Really good point. Really good question. Because I was a history major like you, and that means I had no job prospects at all.
Oh,
none. No, I mean that wasn't really it. I mean, I went to college because like my parents wanted me to go to college, and I was a good student, so I figured that'll be good, and they were going to pay for it. So great. I think that's like why a lot of people go to college, but it really had nothing to do with getting a career. And so then I was going to graduate, and I was always somebody who liked to do stuff, and I was like, I should probably do something instead of trying to apply for jobs. Because I have found in my life that if you have to ask somebody, like if you have to apply for something, you're leaving a lot in other people's hands. I don't like that feeling, and I actually don't get into things that I apply for most of the time, so I was like, I got to do this on my own. So we had this idea for this thing called cheapestbeercville.com. I had the domain. It's like, we're going to do it. We're going to help people find the cheapest beer in Charlottesville. Me and Matt, who's standing up being getting in the way. We were living together and we drank a lot of beer and we didn't like to pay too much for it, so we thought we would do this thing. We met with Nick, who's in the front, and he was like, no, we're going to do this bigger thing. It's going to be this like thing that we can take everywhere. It's going to be a startup, and that's how that started.
And what were the best resources here at UVA to help you do that? Like, were there? And I don't.
No, there. I mean, I'm sure they were there. I'm absolutely sure they were there. We connected with the EGM at McIntire, and I think they were really helpful. Mm-hmm. But it's so exponential. Like, what we had nothing compared to what you have now. Like HackCville. Oh my God.
Can we give it up for HackCville? I was there a little earlier.
How blown away are you by HackCville?
Again, that is the core of what makes me so jealous, because it is the exact thing that a university needs to have those, like, just have those conversations that gets founders going on those ideas. And I'll tell you, I've seen a couple since at various schools, I think probably following HackCville's lead. But I was literally just talking it up to President Sullivan like an hour and a half ago, saying like, this is exactly, and it's kind of like the pirates to the Navy. Yeah. That's how I think about it. Like, the university is the Navy, and it has a ton of resources, a ton of amazing people, but like, it's important to have these pirate outposts. And I'm not talking about anything illegal.
You're talking about like the semi-legal pirates from the English in the 1600s.
I was not that good of a history.
No, they sort of authorized them to raid other ships.
Oh, geez. Okay, no. Well, this is going to be quoted out of context. No, the more like the jobs, like, why would you be in the Navy when you could be a pirate?
Yeah.
And actually, what is so wild is you start to see how much students can self-organize and like get shit done, and I hope it spreads. I hope that mentality. I want to see a HackCville for artists who are excited about launching their first Kickstarter campaign, working together, forcing each other to learn new techniques, get better. I mean, all this stuff is launching their own Etsy stores together. Like, HackCville was not yet around when you guys launched.
No, and that was a huge detriment to us. I mean, I think we would have done better if it had been here, purely because we raised money, but like, we barely raised money, and we felt like we did a lot better when we had a clubhouse, when we had like a place we could all be together, and we definitely got a lot more done when that was true. Yeah. So we would like get an office with the money that we would raise, like when we could scrape it together, because it was really hard for us. If we could have spent that money elsewhere, that would have been a huge thing. And second of all, having people around that could tell us that we were just being stupid when we were being stupid.
Yes.
I mean, how valuable would that have been? But instead, we were kind of with each other arguing about whether we were being stupid. I think that would have been a really huge help. And, like, when we were nothing, that would have, like, given us a chance to be something. And we had to kind of, like, fight and claw our way into that sort of legitimacy when we could have just, like, had it with our peer group. I'm so jealous of HackCville. It's ridiculous.
Do you feel like all this opportunity and all this hope for the world that I have is unfounded?
You're such a just air in the clouds schmuck. Like, it's ridiculous. You're right on, man. Like, I think what I always say is that the best thing about the economy sort of tanking is that it happened when it happened, when we had the internet and the tools to build things. Like, I say I know how to code. I know how to code in a way, like the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts is hiring me to build their iOS apps. I've been coding iOS for like 4 months. That's not because I'm brilliant. That's because the tools are out there now to learn this stuff so fast, and not even have to learn like 80% of it. People have just done most of the work for you, right? So we're at a point now where the economy is tanking, and you've got no choice but to be a creator. Mm-hmm. That's how the economy works, by the way. If we're all out creating, the economy's going to pick up. So if we're a generation that feels that we have no choice, literally no choice, but to create things, I mean, we could have a 0% unemployment rate if we really took that seriously. There's no reason why the economy can't grow in an environment where people think that they have no choice but to be creators. I think you're right on with that.
Excellent. Okay, good. So I'm not wasting the next 4 months of my life on this bus.
Well, I didn't say that.
My cat.
Cats can't go on buses.
I just didn't want to try to bring her on the bus. This is not a good
I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Would you share some embarrassing failure that happened along the way?
Every moment of my life since I decided to be an entrepreneur has been its like semi-embarrassing failure. I mean, I've watched so many websites that I don't even want to talk about that just nobody has given a shit about. Like, people don't care about like most of what you do.
Yes.
The City Swig failed virtually in its entirety, and we wasted people's money in a way, and like that's embarrassing. I'm not embarrassed of what we did. We pushed it way farther. I mean, we only raised like $40,000, and we went for a year and a half, and like did a ton of stuff. Did everything we could do.
So you're saying you learned a ton.
Oh my god.
And I think that's the other thing too.
Still embarrassing though. Like to tell people you failed is it just is, and like you have to get over it.
Yes.
Just get over it. Your life is embarrassing. Like get over it. You know, like go be awesome. Like if you're awesome, maybe you won't be so embarrassed.
No, it is. I think. Well, it's funny, right? Because like, you're worried that people are going to think, oh, this is lame. But if no one actually sees what you've made, no one knows. Like,
also, even if people hate your website, they don't think it's lame that you built it.
No,
that
no.
Website, product, like pottery, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nobody ever thinks it's lame that you built it. They just think it is lame or it's awesome. But they'll always think you're cool for having gone it. I mean,
so
like
do it because it's cool.
You're embarrassed sometimes, right? Like
yes.
Like every day.
Are you? We have. You want some real talk right here?
Yeah.
We
That's
are
why I
4
asked.
weeks into this tour, and I just learned last night that there is a typo on our official tour T-shirts.
How embarrassing.
I misspelled Florida.
No, hold on. That's actually completely okay.
Just last night.
It's
Well,
actually
Florida of all the states.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
one.
That's actually
Yeah.
completely fine.
Yeah, Florida Man. One of my favorite subreddits. It was just a typo. I haven't actually tested. I haven't seen the shirt yet. I got a random email from
'Cause
someone
he's
who
too
was like,
embarrassed
"Thanks
to
for the
look at
shirt." I was ashamed. He was like, "Thanks for the shirt. You can't spell." I know we only ordered 1,000, so no big deal. But yeah, no, like seriously, all the
You never would have
fucking
learned that
time.
if you didn't ship, though. If you don't ship, you don't find out why you
Never found the
suck.
stuff
I mean,
out.
that's the thing. Like people will tell you really honestly why you're terrible if you ship.
Yes, and it should be, and there's, oftentimes you hear stuff like, oh wow, how are you so brave to start a company right out of college? And it's like, one, there's no burning buildings, there are no bullets, there's nothing brave about starting a company. And two, when you don't have, what's the Bob Dylan, ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. Like, when you've just graduated from college, like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Assuming you don't have any dependents, assuming like the worst case scenario, you're gonna try something, fail miserably at it, but learn a ton, and then go to the next thing saying, oh, what did I do for the last year and a half or 2 years? Just started a company.
Yeah.
Like,
What did you do the last 2 years?
Like,
No, like I'm telling you, man, like I have no interest in having a career, but if I wanted a career, I am so much better off having done what I did than
Yes.
getting straight A's or I don't know. What do you do? What do you do
Lots
if you
of
want
clubs,
a career? And go, yeah,
straight A's.
I don't know. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing lots of clubs, but I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had this feeling that if I didn't do it on my own, then nobody was going to do it for me because I never get into things that I didn't get into high school, college, and I've actually never been accepted to anything to which you can openly apply in my entire life, including UVA. I got rejected the first time I applied here. So I had this feeling that like, I won't get into anything, nobody will give me a job, I have to do this on my own. What it turns out is that like, that's how you get a job. That's like the best, I can't think of a better way to, I don't know anybody who's been an entrepreneur who can't get a job. If they want. Maybe no people, but I can't think of a single person off the top of my head.
It is, I mean, I just think whether it's a path you want to do or whether it's just something that you want to give you something that helps you stand apart from all the other history majors, right? Like it's what you've done, it's what you've been doing, right? At some point those 3-point whatevers all blur together and it's like really what is the thing that shows that you can do stuff?
Yeah, 3-point whatever. Yeah, sure.
Being optimistic. 2.9?
No, I had.
Yeah. But so,
Okay.
so
3-point.
and are you gonna be down to hang out afterwards and talk to a bunch of these wahoos?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna party after this.
Do it.
And are we going to Buddha's? I don't know where we're going.
Buddha's Bike Bar. That is back, isn't it? Yeah. You know that it was like 4 other things and is now Buddha's again?
No.
You didn't know that. You literally didn't know. You thought, oh, it's always been Buddha.
Nice change.
It was Buddha when I was visiting my sister here in 2006 and 2007, I think, and then it changed and like 3 times, and now it's back.
Did they keep the sign and the menus in the back, and they were just hoping like one day it's gonna come out? All right. Well, we'll get to see rebranded Buddha's. That's awesome. Well, thank you
You're
so
the man.
much.
It's good talking to you.
Again, thank you, Thomas. Now, we normally we do a little Q&A thing, and I would love to do it, but I wanted to make sure we got ample time with Thomas, and I also wanted to make sure we take advantage of the UVA subreddit, which exists, and I'd love to see more activity on because the tech one is better. I'm just saying. The
Co-founder of
tech
the
one's
City
better
Swig is the moderator on that.
Oh,
Just
so
you
what's it
know.
going to take to get? All right, anyway, so I'm gonna do a post
At
on
tech.
oh the tech one.
Yeah.
Oh.
We had to go out there.
Noted. Noted. That's good. Still talent. That's
It's
worth
talent,
it. Yeah, steal it. Bring it back here. But look, all this is to say, I'm going to post a thread on the UVA subreddit. Probably not tonight, knowing the way I know tonight's going to go. But tomorrow morning, late in the morning, and you guys can AMA, ask me anything there, and I'll answer any of the stuff you want. I also have a special surprise. Is it? You think it's going to be? Oh yeah, that's right. Thanks, Asa. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I said, right? Just figuring it out. The only way events like this happen, the only way you can pull off a 75-stop college book tour with very little experience doing anything remotely close to this is because of amazing students who have self-organized and made all this happen. So could all of the student leaders who helped put this on come forward? Because we have a flag, a mighty banner. I want to see at the top of the rotunda tonight. Because really it exemplifies everything in the book, everything on this tour. Like student groups all over this country have shown they are hungry for this message of entrepreneurship. Cheese. It'll work. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Clap it up one more time. Thank you. I hope every one of you gets to check out HackCville, and I hope when I come back here, there's going to be, I'll probably be back in 6 months, a year tops, but I'm hoping to make a trip out here in hopefully March, and I hope there's even more amazing stuff happening. I also have a t-shirt cannon, which has those limited edition typo t-shirts. So wait, one second. So the only way, so Asa has this rare condition where the only way he knows where to shoot the cannon is based on your noise. It's a weird, so real quick, can we just I'm doing Instagram videos of a bunch of school, like, cheers. And, we go to some schools where I ask them, and there's just this awkward silence because they don't know how to cheer. Like, there's no school cheer. Could we get a little UVA action while we do this right here? Do I have your consent? Do I have to
Start with the good old song or just
No, this is Instagram, so I only have 10 seconds. We can't do the whole good old song. I'm sorry. Right. I'm just checking. You guys chose to come here instead of a basketball game, so clearly it's sports. Clearly. Do I have everyone's consent to video them? Yes. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. Good. All right. So on 3, you guys, let's just hear it. Okay. 1. Wait. Make sure it's in video mode. I don't know how to use technology. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right, I actually screwed up. Like I said, no idea what he's doing. Okay. Outros again. All right, sorry guys, even louder this time. Sorry. All right, 1, 2, 3. Unity, Virginia! Hooray! Hooray! Hey! UVA! Yes! Thank you very much. Like I said, I don't know where the future of the internet's headed, okay? But all of you in this room have a chance to make a tremendous impact on the world, to make the world suck less using this technology. And like I said, I hope you do it. Whatever field it might be, whether it's business, whether it's nonprofit, whether it's activism, whether it is art, whether it is comedy, whether it is just photos of your cat, start doing it, okay? And I'll make noise so Ace knows where to shoot his cannon. All right? Thank you. did. All right, guys. One more thing, because I still hate lines. We have software to eliminate lines from this signing, okay? If you get a book, just text this number now if you want to get a book. And then we built this deli counter app. So you don't have to wait in line, you can talk to each other, you can plan the next Kickstarter or the next Etsy store, the next startup you want to build together, and when your phone buzzes with a text message saying, hey, it's your turn, come on up, you can come on up. Okay, we're all about efficiency here. So please, text this number if you want to get a copy of the book. If you don't, that's cool, no hard feelings, we'll go party afterwards. And for everyone that does, you're getting a donorschoose.org gift card for $25 that you can donate to the classroom of your choosing. So find a needy public classroom somewhere in the country, give it some cash money, basically get your book paid for thanks to some charity to a worthy cause. All right, so again, thank you very much. You all are awesome. This is the best thing ever.